Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Shabbat class, the 21st of December, 2024. Okay. The title inside the class is the creation story and Yah's order. It's kind of like a recap because we had a serious conversation last night, so I felt the need to backtrack with that, bring some more clarity to new people that's coming in. Okay. You can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can examine, so and get the meat out. The videos will lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. Okay. Our hours of operation that we live is Tuesday, Wednesday, 7 to 9 Central Time. And then we have our women's, that's something separate. Friday nights, we on Prophets of Awakening, 7 to 9. It's our men's advanced Bible study. Then we have 2 Shabbat classes on Saturday on the Shabbat. One in the morning, 10 to 12 a.m. Central Time. Then we close out the Shabbat in the evening, 6 to 7. And then we have a class that we do a lot of dialogue and current events and all that on Sundays. It's at 5 in the evening, Central Time. So anytime you want to come in and join us, you're welcome. Okay. So with that being said, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament in the so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Savior and our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts. Okay? Don't subscribe to the New Testament. Don't subscribe to the God in the New Testament, JC, YAHWEH'S, whatever you want to call him. And we don't subscribe to Paul and the apostles. Okay? That's a Gentile imagination. Okay? Shalom and welcome to this channel and welcome to our Shabbat class. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, Sabbath prayer, read the Psalms. We have some current events, global news, and then we have some need to know information, Q&A, and then we'll go into our topic. Like I said earlier, is creation story, breakdown of the creation story, and Yahweh's order. Okay, so with that being said, this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay? Oh Lord, we come before thee on this Sabbath day, bow down with great respect for our Redeemer. Oh Lord, you confess through your prophet Isaiah that you would return unto us and that you would pour out your spirit upon us. And as of this day, you have completed that in great fashion. Because of this, O Lord, we have found you within your holy scriptures, great in counsel, mighty in works, for thine eyes are open upon the ways of men to give everyone according to his ways and according to his fruit of his doings. O Lord, behold, thou hast made the heavens and earth by thy great power and thy great stretched out arm, and there is nothing too hard for thee. And knowing all these things, O Lord, we eagerly await thy coming, the day in which you will break the yoke of our oppressors. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that, we'll read the Psalms. Okay. I think it's 12. I was trying to go in numeric order. Psalms 12. It's a plea against the wicked. Psalm of David. Help, Lord, for the godly man ceaseth, for the faithful fail from among the children of men. They speak vanity, everyone, with his neighbor, with flattering lips, and with a double heart do they speak. The Lord shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaketh proud things. Who have said with our tongue, will we prevail? Our lips are our own. Who is who is Lord over us? For the oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy. Now will I arise, said the Lord, and I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver is tried in a furnace of the earth, purified 7 times. Thou shalt keep them, O Lord, thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever. The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are extolled. Okay, so that was Psalms 12. Okay, anybody have any comments on that? So what David is doing is praying about, and if you pay attention to it, you can see it exactly playing out right now in front of us. But it's way more wicked folks in the earth than it is righteous, and they constantly coming at the righteous to try to subdue them or get them off their path. And we see that all through the scriptures when it came to David. They did not want David to be king in Jerusalem. They wanted him gone. And they tried everything they could to try to knock David off his throne. Okay. So with that being said, we go to our current events, right? I've been dealing with this strong situation, right? So I want to show you something right quick.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Beyond World is One. My name is Him Corsaroya, and here's a look at all the top stories that we're tracking for you right now. Several drones attacked Russian city of Kazan, damaging many residential buildings. Video shows a drone hitting a high-rise building. No injuries or deaths reported. Kazan and Izevsk airport temporarily halt operations.
I don't know if anybody noticed or not, but I think it was, when I looked at it, it was about an hour or so, 2 hours ago, drones, right, been attack Russia. Let that from me. Drones and attack Russia.
US law enforcement officials warn of Germany-like car ramming attacks on American soil, particularly over the festive season. New York City Police Department to bolster security in areas around the city. 25 civilians handed prison sentences ranging from 2 to 10 years by military courts in Pakistan for their involvement in violent attacks on military installations during the nationwide riots of May 9, 2023. Militants launched overnight raid on an army post near the Afghan border in Pakistan, killing 16 soldiers and critically wounding 5 more. More than 30 militants attacked an army post in Makin area of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa.
So like I said before, I talked about this before. I don't know if it really registered or not, but like I said, these people want to rule the world from Jerusalem. These Edomites. I showed you in Malachi that the Most High, the Lord of hosts, kicked them out, and then they vowed to him that they would return back, and they came back in 1948. Right, hoodwinking the scriptures and finagling behind the scenes with these different countries, and they ended up back in the land of Israel, as they said. But they have an objective, and they want to rule the world from Jerusalem for 1,000 years. So, like I said, with all the money and this AI technology and everything they have, they actually trying to pull that off. So a lot of the chaos that you're looking at is engineered. So you say Look at what's going on in Pakistan, right? You know, you say, what's going on with that? Well, Pakistan is part of the original borders. When the Most High gave Israel the borders, Pakistan's part of that. What you see going on in Gaza, all that, they want to rule the world from Jerusalem from the original borders. So I told you how they pros at causing chaos and bringing countries down. Like he said, Amshel Rothschild way back in the day, he said, just let me control the country money. They can have everything else, let me control the money. And so that's where they at. They can bring countries up, or down or raise countries up. And so behind the scenes, there's a lot of this stuff going on because of when you understand what their plan is. Nobody really understand that about Pakistan, but you got to go back and look at the original borders and look at the nations that's in those original borders now, and then you can just sit back and watch and notice how all the chaos comes there, because they want to bring all that down and they want to rule the world from the original borders of Israel. Like I said, it's nothing new, because that's what Putin wanted to do. I mean, not Putin, but Hitler. He wanted to rule the world from Jerusalem for a 1,000-year reign. Okay, and that's not biblical. I told you about that in other videos. How Cerinthius, this guy named Cerinthius, is over in Egypt during the time when they translated the scriptures out to not to the Greek. So this dude Cerinthius, he the one came over with that 1,000 years, and then it ended up in New Testament. Okay, but anyway, let's play a little more of this.
Yemen-based Houthis confirm firing a hypersonic ballistic missile Palestine 2 that hit Israel's Tel Aviv. 16 people wounded in the strike. Military helicopter catches fire as it is forced to make an emergency landing near Camp Pendleton in California. All crew members are reported safe with no injuries. Thousands of supporters of South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol rally in capital Seoul, demanding his presidential duties to be reinstated after he was impeached nearly a week ago over a botched martial law decree.
So like I said earlier too, but we kind of came up last night a little bit, but these people know where all the chaos is. It's you got, when I talked about harps, right, and its capabilities, they can control the weather with the harps. They also can control earthquakes, right, and then they also can cause riots, right, with the frequencies. They first have to go in and get everything stirred up, and then harps take over from there and inflame the people. But anyway, like I was saying before, they know where all the volatile places on the earth at when it comes to the Earth's magnetic, those magnetic plates that's under the earth, like California, where the San Andreas fault line is at, the New Magic fault line. They know where all these places at, and they can target it with harps. Just all they have to do is send a beam there and trigger it. You know, just Yellowstone. They know where all these, and so the same thing with these conflicts between countries like North and South Korea. They know it's a volatile situation right there. They can go there and jump start there when they want to, like they did with Russia and Ukraine. It's always been a volatile situation because those are really all the same people. but they came and it was separation happened. Ukraine was disconnected from Russia, but it's actually part of Russia. They're Russian people. And so same thing with Mexico, the border. That was originally Mexican territory back in the day before the Alamo came and the Americans took their land. So it's always been strife and animosity there. Thick. So they know just where to go. And Palestine and Israel, they know right where to go to bring about chaos. And then you're going to use all that to try to bring about, you usurp the Most High's prophecies that he's already said. It ain't going to work, but believe me, what you're looking at is all orchestrated by these people. Just like the Old and New Testament. They brought about that chaos because of the New Testament had nothing to do with the Old Testament. Okay? So by what they done, they brought about chaos with it. And they used it for their own advantage when they get ready to. Or they got something going on. Okay? So, any comments or questions before we move on? Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to go to this other video. It's about Tory. He has some information in it that I wanted to share. Okay, so let me play it. Oh yeah, he said a speech and then some things in there that he said that I wanted to shine a light on.
Decision, and this decision has changed the wave of politics in Africa. It is something that a lot of African leaders cannot do that because it needs you to be fearless, needs you to be bold so that you can choose to make such decisions. And the decision they did is this one. They did ECOWAS. Ditching ECOWAS was the best decision for these three juntas. Ditching ECOWAS was a best decision for Ibrahim Traore to do because with the agenda he have, with the agenda of Pan-Africanism, with the agenda of uniting Africans, you cannot do it when you are still under ECOWAS. Before we continue this video, let's watch this clip and then we come back again.
Here, we will explain why we left the ECOWAS and where we are going. Remember that it was in 1975 that it was created, and it was created for the majority of state leaders, putschists, as they like to say. It was the military who took the power and took the responsibility to create ECOWAS, so that there is a real economic growth of the people.
So like I said before, when we was dealing with Esther, I was telling you about David. He was a learned man. He knew history and all that. Moses was, but you go to Artaxerxes, the one that Esther was dealing with, he knew his history. He was a learned man. He had a big library in his chamber. He stayed in there. He was a learned man. So now we see right here, listening to this Tory, he's a learned man. That's why he's different than everybody else. He did his research and his own work. Check it out what he said.
People inside this space. Later, the so-called Democrats.
Democrats, ain't but one place where Democrats is. That's in Washington, D.C. Check this out.
Invited themselves to the heads of our states. They completely emptied the community of its foundation. When on July 26th, Niger decided to take its destiny into their own hands, we were surprised to see ECOWAS appear after some days with a force awaiting. Where was this force when thousands and thousands of Nigerians were killed by terrorists? Where was this force when thousands of Malians of Burkina Faso died under the bullets of terrorists? They said that by force they were going to evict the valiant sons of Niger who took the destiny into their own hands. Do you think that these are women who are...
So let's deal with that. So he says that, check it out.
Terrorists. They said that by force They were going to evict the valiant sons of Niger who took...
So who these valiant sons of Niger is? I told you they Ephraim. And then you go back when I was dealing with the 400-year prophecy in Genesis chapter 15, and we went to the book of Joshua, and we found out that valiant men from Israel, Ephraim, right? Ephraim left 180 years into the captivity that the Most High had prophesied to Abraham. So they left early, took it upon themselves. Valiant men from Ephraim. Same thing right here.
Took the destiny into their own hands.
See that?
Do you think that these are women who are in Niger? There are fighters there. The Nigerian army are warriors.
Ephraim.
They have been fighting for years. It is not a parade army or a peacekeeping army. And the armies of the ECOWAS have decided to unite. We are waiting for this force. These so-called Democrats must understand that when thousands of Nigerians die in hospital beds due to lack of electricity or
so you think they throw, but they're all in the book, just like we is. It ain't no accident you over here where Ephraim at. The Democrats. Come on.
lack of medication, it is a crime.
C'est du crime. Ils sont responsables de ces sanctions, ils sont responsables de ces morts.
They are responsible for these sanctions. They are responsible for these deaths.
Democrats.
The same thing happens in Mali. With Burkina Faso, we have indirect sanctions. Because people must understand that when they take their orders from the other side, they come and do everything to apply it.
C'est honteux.
It is
So who giving the orders? Esau. So go back and add that up. It's a whore riding upon the beast. The whore is Esau. Beast is Israel. I mean, America. One of the heads now, America. That mighty army over in America, the whole army. Okay.
shameful.
Certains ont décidé
Some have decided not to provide electricity to our countries. It is not free. We pay, and it contributes to their economy.
et ça contribue à leur économie. Ils ont essayé de faire souffrir le Mali.
They tried to make Mali suffer, and of course by ignoring all the texts and not giving electricity to Mali,
Et de ne plus donner l'électricité au Mali. Espérant que
hoping that the population would revolt. It didn't
ça ne
work.
marche pas. Lorsque ça a duré, certains étaient obligés
When it lasted, some were forced to make their own people pay by increasing the cost of electricity.
ça va encore.
It will increase again.
Cela nous donne plusieurs leçons.
This gives us several lessons. Several lessons in the sense that the independence we take, the sovereignty we take, we must do everything for it to be.
Ils nous ont donné de très belles leçons et nous avons
They gave us very good lessons, and we understood them very well.
Yeah, so like I said before, this guy, he didn't just come up out of the ground out of nowhere. He did his homework, and then he got a history, and it's the lineage he came from. You know, he understands what's going on. It's all orchestrated by the Most High, Lord of hosts, like he said. I spoke it, and I'm going to bring you to pass. That's all we're doing. We're looking at it. Any comments so far? You want to watch that video? It's Abraham Tory made this bold decision that shocked the entire Africa. You want to watch it? It's the Kenyan Beast. That's the name of the channel. Okay, so with that being said, I got some need to know information. Okay, look at that.
The Ethiopian Bible proves we've been misled about Christianity all along. In a world where religious traditions anchor billions of lives, a bold statement from Pope Francis has sent shockwaves through the Christian faith. The leader of over 1 billion Catholics has turned his gaze toward an ancient and often overlooked artifact, the Ethiopian Bible. His assertion, this remarkable text, preserved for centuries in the highlands of Ethiopia, may challenge everything we think we know about Christianity. Could it be that the Christianity many follow today has strayed far from its origins? The Pope's declaration is as dramatic as it is unsettling, urging believers to reconsider the very foundations of their faith. While the Bible has been a cornerstone of Western civilization for centuries, few are aware of the Ethiopian Bible, a text older than the versions most Christians hold sacred. This ancient manuscript includes books and teachings excluded from the Western canon, offering a glimpse into a version of Christianity that feels both familiar and startlingly different. The Ethiopian Bible encompasses texts like the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees, revered by Ethiopian Christians, but deemed non-canonical in the West. Its unique theology and history compel us to ask, have we been following an incomplete or altered version of Christianity? Through Pope Francis' groundbreaking statements, this exploration delves into the Ethiopian Bible's profound differences, its historical significance, and the far-reaching implications of embracing its truths. This journey challenges us to question whether mainstream Christian doctrines truly represent the essence of the faith, or a carefully curated version shaped by the forces of time and power. If you found this discussion thought-provoking, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content on the intersection of faith, history, and philosophy. Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective on this fascinating and controversial topic. 1. Pope Francis' bold claims. Pope Francis, widely recognized for his progressive stance and willingness to address contentious issues within and beyond the Church, has once again sparked global conversation. His recent remarks regarding the Ethiopian Bible, an ancient and often overlooked scriptural canon, may be among the most provocative statements of his papacy. By acknowledging the Ethiopian Bible as a critical piece of Christian history, Pope Francis has invited believers and theologians alike to reconsider their understanding of Christianity's origins. The Ethiopian Bible, also known as the YAHWEH'S Bible, predates many Western translations and encompasses a broader canon of Scripture, including books and writings excluded from the more familiar Protestant and Catholic Bibles. Pope Francis suggested that these texts might hold key insights into the earliest practices of the Christian faith, offering a lens through which to view Christianity unclouded by the layers of institutional interpretations that have accumulated over centuries. His comments encouraged a form of introspection, presenting an opportunity for the faithful to reassess the foundations of their beliefs. In his carefully phrased address, the Pope did not directly accuse any group or institution of malice. However, he hinted at the possibility that critical aspects of early Christianity might have been omitted or overshadowed, not accidentally, but potentially by deliberate design. These omissions, he implied, could have been political and cultural factors that prioritize control over spiritual authenticity. Subtle as they were, these statements carried significant weight, challenging believers to ask difficult questions. Have we inherited a complete picture of Christianity? Could the Ethiopian Bible, often marginalized in Western religious traditions, hold revelations that illuminate what was lost or hidden?
Okay. Any comments on that? Why you think all of a sudden all this stuff is happening? They voluntarily coming out with this information. Anybody have any comments on that?
Shalom. Could it be the fact that they want them to take more direct look at the Pope since he's going to be doing this opening these portals and they want to put the light on him for having people to think, okay, he knows what's going on and let's follow him more? I mean, that's just a question because of his what he's going to be doing, open up these portals. So it's going to put more emphasis on him if he alert others that he believed in the Ethiopian Bible and it's going to grab all the Ethiopians to come more to him because he's putting a spotlight on them. A question.
Okay, well, if you look at it, they just said that Elon Musk got revelations on what's really happening in history. Then you got Putin opening up his vaults, Queen Elizabeth, all this. So it ain't just the Pope, and all this was going on before they even announced that he was going to open up some portals. So they got a hidden agenda on reason why all these so-called influential people coming out with this information. Anybody else got any comments on it? Okay. So when you look at it, you can see it's like a seedling, apple tree. When you first start planting it, you see that it's made it through the process, germination process. Now it is sprouted out and it's starting to grow, right? Well, it's an apple tree, and it's already got its footing in the ground, got its roots in the ground, so it's gonna grow up and be an apple tree. Same with us, waking up, we understanding that JC, no matter what you call him, he don't have nothing to do with us. It's a remnant, it's a small remnant of people that's like a seedling that know the JC ain't real. Well, what you think gonna happen? It's gonna eventually grow and be a tree. Everybody gonna start, all the Israelites gonna start figuring it out. That's what they trying to cut off. They bringing all this stuff out and feeding this black YAHWEH'S thing, this black Jesus and all that. They formulating that to try to redirect the people's mind, keep them from where they see they going. They see that little small group that's starting to, or that's waking up, and they know it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna germinate. So they trying to cut it off and take us in another direction. Because of like when in the movie, I mean in the we went there in the book of Judith, and when the Hoffman came to Jerusalem, he had destroyed all those other countries, and he came to Jerusalem, and he saw them preparing for war. So he asked, it was a Moabite in his army. He asked the Moabite, "Who is these people, and why they preparing for war? They heard all the things I done, and how violent I am, and I destroyed all the other countries. Why they preparing for war?" So the guy told him, the Moabite told him, as long as they dealing with their God, if they had one with their God and they know who their God is and they right with him, there's nothing you can do with them. You're gonna lose. So, like I said, these people know that. That's the purpose of giving us JC. That's the purpose of all the things they done when it comes to hoodwinking the scriptures and all that. As long as we dealing with any other God besides him, they're gonna rule. They can continue to manipulate us. But they see that little plant, that little seedling group that's waking up, and they shedding all that ideology. They don't want to deal with nothing that had to do with JC. And that's why all this massive information coming out to try to keep the people dealing with this false idol. They don't care if you say he black, as long as you ain't calling the God that went to Egypt or the God that came down on Mount Sinai. As long as we ain't reconnecting with him, they good. They can continue to rule and manipulate us. That's what you're looking at. Any comments, questions? So the video I was just playing was Pope Francis, the Ethiopian Bible proves we've been misled about Christianity all along. So yeah. So this, like I said before, this makes no sense. After all these years, you was able to, you've been ruling, and you hoarded up all the money with JC and the Christianity. Why all of a sudden now is all this information coming out about these so-called or influential people that's, they even got a revelation all of a sudden. Like I said, they come from a lineage. Elon Musk come from a lineage that if he know this now in 2024, then all his forefathers know. Why are you revealing it now? Queen Elizabeth, she come from a lineage. They know all this all along. Now all of a sudden there's a need to come out with it. Okay. Anyway, let me see what they're talking about. And it says, I know this is off the topic, but our current state of as a people can we keep the law? And with the scriptures being manipulated and changed over thousands of years, should we try to keep the law? Yeah, we can keep the law. The things that been revealed to us and shown to us, yeah, we can keep them. The law, the 10 Commandments, yeah, we can keep them to the best of our ability. But when you start talking about a temple, sacrifices and all that, no, because like I said, the Israelite, like I said, the male is the seed, right? And the males are connected to those clean animals. They use the sacrifice. They gone. Our God, the Creator, our Redeemer, took away those animals, so we can't sacrifice. So we can't be connected to Him. That's where we at. So when it comes to the law and keeping the Shabbat, the best of our ability, we can do that. Like He said, when the time comes, all that stuff is going to be provided to us. Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody got any comments? So let me see what's up. Okay, we go down here. Say, YAHWEH'S says, if you love me, you'll keep His commandments. You gotta, like I was saying before, it's a non-Messianic channel. We got over 1,000 or so videos that's gonna break down the fact that YAHWEH'S is fictitious. He's fictitious. So if you want to keep dealing with YAHWEH'S and try to keep the commandments, keep on. Look what it done got our forefathers last 2,500 years dealing with YAHWEH'S. So if you want to keep on dealing with Him, cool. Okay. So anybody got any comments or questions?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. I was gonna say, when you were talking about the animals, that's one thing I'm not seeing like in the west coast of Africa. That's how I know it's not all the way time yet. You know, like
Exactly.
everything else, you know, the powers of everything else turning over, but I ain't seen no abundant livestock yet.
Exactly. Right. And that's why you keep on seeing me. Let me read it again today, but you keep seeing me read Isaiah chapter 60. Right. So most people, they're just floating around on the surface because they don't have the understand that they got the story twisted from the beginning, so their understanding is twisted because they ain't dealing with it, the whole picture from the beginning. Like I said, Genesis 1 and 2, there's two beings there. Genesis 1, Yahweh, and then Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, the Lord of hosts is there. So what that tells you right there, the Lord thy God is one God. That who brought that in? Who introduced that to us? If you can go right here in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 and 2, two beings there. Isaiah 44 tells you, me and the Lord, my Savior, my Redeemer, the Lord of hosts. Two different beings. So like I said, you want to keep on dealing with YAHWEH'S on you. Okay. Can you give me that question again, AJ?
I'm sorry?
Give me that question again. It slipped my mind. You went away from it. That question you just asked.
I'm sorry, the livestock. I was saying that the livestock in the West Coast.
I got it. So I'm in Isaiah chapter 6. It says chapter 60, right? Chapter 60 says, I'll read the verse, 7 verses. It says, arise and shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, darkness shall cover the earth, gross darkness the people, but the Lord, see that? Not YAHWEH'S, the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee, and the Gentiles, see that? So right here we see two lies already. YAHWEH'S, the Lord ain't YAHWEH'S, and then here you go, and the Gentiles shall come to thy light. king. So Gentiles, who they telling us Gentiles is, ain't the Gentiles, right? 4, 3. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. Lift up thine eyes round about and see all they that gather themselves together. They come to thee. Thy sons come from afar, and thy daughters shall be nursed upon side. Here go the third lie, that America is Israel. Our land, homeland is America. When he's telling you right here, the sons shall come from afar. See that? And thy daughter shall be nursed from thy side. Then, after all this happened, then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, cause the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. So the God they telling you about the New Testament, he said he brought the Gentiles in, but right here, Most High putting his foot in the Gentiles in order for them to return our substance back to us. Which brings us to the question that was asked, verse 6. The multitude of camels shall cover thee, the drummery of Midian and Ephah, all they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold, incense, and they shall show forth praises of the Lord. Now here you go. 7. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. This is when we get our flocks back, right here. Why? The rams of Nebat shall minister unto thee. How do a ram minister to Israelite? On the altar. When he sacrificed it to the Lord. That's what Abraham did. That's what Adam did. When Cain and Abel became 12 years old, that's what Abel did. Right? So it says, and the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Nebat shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with acceptance upon my altar. And I will glorify the house of thy glory. So like I said before, you're going to look like a nut bucket trying to sacrifice a ram now. Especially a Hebrew over in America. You ain't got no ram. Come on. So it's all on the Lord of hosts, our Redeemer. It ain't YAHWEH'S. Okay? To answer the question?
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, that's how that go. But anyway, I was dealing. Yeah, you want to watch that video? It's Pope Francis, the Ethiopian Bible proves we've been misled about Christianity, and I shine a light on that. These people they have all the social media stuff. It's all directed to they got a situation room, Pentagon, and they monitor everything that they see happening. That's what algorithms is and all that. So they know that they can see this group of people that's waking up, that's casting off all that ideology in the New Testament. And they know that it's going to catch fire. They go back and look at our history, it's going to catch fire. So they trying to divert it. That's just like when, according to the internet and all the smart stuff in your house, if you keep running to Walmart or to the dollar store buying tea, a certain type of tea, you keep running there. After a while, that you're gonna start getting videos on tea. Yeah, your refrigerator might tell you running low on tea. Go get some more tea. Go to the dollar store and get some more of that tea, because they watching everything you're doing. So they know who's waking up and how they waking up and what they talking about, because they're looking at all this stuff on Google, and the internet ain't nothing but a military application. Surveillance. That's all it is. Like I was saying, it's tied to hearts. You can fumble with it if you want. Okay? That's something. So, with that being said, we're going to open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything? No questions? No comments? Okay. I'll play this here a little bit of what I was just talking about, but then we'll go into the reading.
You worried ever about your safety?
No, and the reason I say that is because I think, you know, a lot of what we're facing is an energetic and spiritual battle, I guess you could say. And I think in order, you know, if you're afraid of these people, you're giving them, well, like I mentioned earlier, the more you look at the people that were around Epstein, even before Epstein gets involved, it becomes very clear that what he was doing was not out of the ordinary for these particular groups, especially like arms dealers, like Adnan Khashoggi. He had an alleged harem of women that he used to blackmail powerful people in the private and public sectors on his yacht. And all their sorts of types of people. Robert Keith Gray, a PR executive that started working for Adnan Khashoggi around the same time that Jeffrey Epstein allegedly did, has an alleged history of sexual blackmail for the CIA. And then you have allegations of Roy Cohn, the well-known New York mob attorney, also being involved in sexual blackmail stuff.
You know,
maybe, I don't know. I just, you know, at this point, I think my politics are, I don't want the government to be run by organized crime.
That's where,
and I think that's a start.
So where this video going, I'm gonna let a little play, but the video is about she giving you some. If you've been doing your homework, you should think with what she's saying. But she's saying that Trump and the elite, the same ones that's talking about open up these vaults and black Christianity been hoodwinked and all that. These the ones, but their objective is to create a new class of slaves in Africa. That's the objective. So when I read that, what they tell me, that takes me straight to Ezekiel 38. Mosiah said that they're gonna try to come back and resubjugate us again after he delivered us. This how close we is. Okay.
Point for most Americans.
In an age of unparalleled global connectivity, we find ourselves at a crossroads. The systems that govern our world, media, finance, law, and technology, are no longer mere tools of governance, but weapons in a battle for control, waged by a select few. These elites hidden in plain sight manipulate these structures to maintain their grip on power, their wealth, and ultimately our lives. But what if this battle is deeper than what we see on the surface? What if these power structures are not only designed to control our actions, but to erase the very essence of who we are?
Right.
Whitney Webb exposes everything. Let's get into it. In a world where powerful elites manipulate the media, lies are no longer just
manipulate.
They are tools of control. The campaign of lies is so effective that public assassinations can occur in broad daylight, but the perpetrators and motives remain hidden. Public figures like Jeffrey Epstein infiltrated the highest echelons of power. And the story of his life and death is a tragic example of how elites create and perpetuate a false narrative, hiding their corrupt actions and leaving the public in the dark.
Explain who he was.
So Robert Maxwell was involved in many things, but he definitely played a major role in undermining U.S. national security by selling bug software to nuclear laboratories in the United States. And this was directly facilitated by well-known statesmen in U.S. history, like Henry Kissinger, for example. And a lot of the people I think that enabled him, at least on the U.S. side, tend to be those that favor global governance and, you know, they kind of don't want the U.S. to have that kind of monopoly on power.
Because all of his family, they were killed in the Holocaust, right?
Right.
And so he's in the West, England. He survives, becomes kind of William Randolph Hearst of England.
Yeah, media mogul, sure.
Yeah. And then betrays the West. And that's not because he was on the others. He wasn't on the Soviet side. He was on a global government side.
Well, I think you have to look at this network, and they've evolved over time, right? Robert Maxwell was very close to the Eastern Bloc. He had a very close relationship with intelligence figures in the KGB and also Bulgaria. He had a relationship with British intelligence and Israeli intelligence, and was involved in aspects of what later became known as Iran-Contra, which of course involves aspects of U.S. intelligence. So, I mean, he had his hands in, everywhere and everything. And I think ultimately people like him are interested in any deal they can make to advance their money and their power and their influence, they'll take it. So Robert Maxwell was very interested in having his family be like the Kennedy family, a political power dynasty. And that's part of why he started moving into New York City around, just a year or two before he ended up dying. And Ghislaine Maxwell was...
How deep does this manipulation go? And how far will the elites push the narrative to protect themselves? Epstein's vast network was far from an isolated anomaly. It was embedded in every major sector of global power: law enforcement, Wall Street, Silicon Valley, big business, real estate, philanthropy, media, and even high fashion.
I really start off the book talking about how intelligence agencies and organized crime in the U.S. got in bed together, and really that symbiosis. It was originally justified out of wartime necessity during World War II.
Fighting the Nazis.
Yeah, but it never stopped, right?
Right.
And it's, business is business. And some of these people in our own national security state, realized they could make a lot of money working with organized crime and really shielding them and getting in on the spoils.
But do these people ever feel bad for what they are doing? At the core of the elite's power is a singular truth. They care for nothing but their interests. Whether it's manipulating global markets, suppressing dissent, or orchestrating wars, their actions are always driven by a pursuit of more power, wealth, and control. Empathy, morality, or the well-being of the masses are irrelevant in their calculations.
We think of, in my idealistic years of thinking about America, I thought, well, we did some bad things, yes, and I'm not talking about slavery or anything else. I'm talking about things we did in war. But we had, we really didn't want to do those things. I'm not sure if any of that is true. Are the people involved in this stuff, do they recognize at all that this is evil, or is this just business?
Well, I think when you're talking about intelligence agencies, there's hierarchies. So there's like people maybe lower in different levels that may think what they're doing is right and advancing American interests. But then there's people at the top that aren't necessarily like that, and it's about advancing their own interests. If you look at a lot of controversial intelligence operations and decisions, coups, for example, of the past, a lot of it was justified as going against communist influence, trying to keep that from growing. But then some of these same actors, like the Iran-Contra types, they ended up getting involved with the Chinese government just a few years later in the 1990s. And some of this blossomed into what a lot of conservatives today remember as Chinagate during the Clinton administration and things like that. So, they really have no allegiance to anything except their desire to grow their own money.
The very systems they create and sustain are designed not to benefit society, but to solidify their dominion over it. While millions struggle for survival, the elites remain insulated, never wavering from their self-serving goals. They will use any means necessary, from disinformation to political manipulation, to ensure their supremacy remains unchallenged.
Right. So, like I said before, when you read the scriptures, this is who the Lord of Hosts talking about, right here. And when he told David, let's look at it right quick. When he told Nathan to go tell David, right, in 2 Samuel. And this is what you have to get, locked in your head. So it says in 2 Samuel, right quick, he says, okay. Yeah, it is. Chapter 7. And like I said, this is one of those situations where people read right over what's being conveyed, right? He says, starting at verse 8 in 2 Samuel chapter 7, the Lord of Hosts. Now YAHWEH'S sent to him to Nathan to go tell David something, right? He says, verse 8, now therefore shall thou say unto my servant David, thus saith the Lord of Hosts, right there. It's not YAHWEH'S, and it ain't Yahweh. I took thee from the sheepcote, from following sheep, to be a ruler over my people Israel. And I was with thee wheresoever thou wentest, and I have cut off all thy enemies out of thy sight, and I have made thee a great name, like unto the name of the great men that are in the earth. Then verse 10 says, moreover, I will appoint a place for my people. See that? My people, and I will plant them, and that they may dwell in a place of their own, and move no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them. See that? So some race of people on earth like the dude was just saying, they have no heart. They wicked as hell. So where that's at? New Testament. JC don't know that. So they wicked as hell. They didn't come from Adam. So it ain't no one blood. And then when you understand that the serpent slept with Eve and got Cain, that's the wicked folks. That's Japhet, the Gentiles. And that's what he's telling David right here. So when you leave 2 Samuel chapter 7, and then you get to the New Testament, you're on a whole nother road. What's being conveyed in 2 Samuel is totally different than what these nut buckets are talking about in the New Testament. Most High said that he's some wicked people on the earth. He got a problem with you. He separated Israel from them. And that's why I say, when you read the Psalms, that's what David continued talking about. He's surrounded by these wicked ass people that come to trying to kill him. So eventually, when I was telling you in the Apocrypha, in First Maccabees, eventually from this same lineage of wicked folks came Antioch Epiphanes and destroyed the Most High's people and their temple and all that. He allowed them to do it. Now, ever since then, we've been like fish out of the water. Now they got total control over this planet, dictating everything. That's where all the lies came from. That's why the New Testament didn't come till they came on the scene. They want us to be, they don't want us to call the God that our forefathers dealt with, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They want us to deal with a fictitious God. The longer we dealing with that fictitious God, the longer they're gonna rule and hoard up money, hoard up their children, and do all this wicked ass stuff they're doing on earth. Like I said, let me read 2 Samuel 7 and 10 again. Moreover, I will appoint a place. It's the Lord of hosts, not YAHWEH'S. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people, Israel, and I will plant them, that they may move no more, neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them anymore at any time. So while you steady trying to uplift JC, you ought to be trying to figure out who the hell these wicked folks is he talking about. Okay? And why they hid them. Why they didn't hid them in the scriptures and told you that Japhet is Noah's son. Okay? Because time is short. Okay? Any comments or questions? Everybody good? Okay, so with that being said, we're going to our topic, like I was saying before, this creation story and the order of in the creation story. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read Genesis chapter 1 through 26, and then I'll go into the order. It's an order in it because this kind of came up last night, and then other different conversations I had during the week. So go to Genesis chapter 1, right? And I'm gonna start reading. Like I said, I'm gonna read verses 1 through 26. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That's Yahweh. Like I just mentioned. And then verse 2, and the earth was without form and void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the waters. This is where everybody get hoodwinked at. The Spirit of God, right? You got to break that down. What's a spirit? Angel. A ministering spirit is what as angels. So when they say ministering spirit, what that is? The Most High created them. And they got roles to do to deal with the Most High creation. He's a consuming fire. He can't deal with it because he's a consuming fire. He's pure fire and he's righteous. He can't, I don't care who you is, you can't approach him. He's gonna burn you up. He's gonna reach out. It's the same way the fire when the Lord of hosts, which is Michael, came into the fiery furnace with Abraham was in there, and then again when Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego was in there. The men that he used to put, he had a bunch of men to put Abraham in the furnace, right? Well, when they went to put Abraham in the furnace, the fire that was in the furnace wasn't no regular fire, because it reached out and started burning up the people around. It didn't burn Abraham up, but it reached out and burned everybody else up. So when they was on Mount Sinai, he told Lord of hosts, Yahweh was up there, along with these other 7 angels that I'm going to show you in a minute. So he told Moses, go back down there. The Lord of hosts told him, go back down there and tell the people to put borders around this mountain. Tell the Levites, put borders around this mountain, because Yahweh down here. And if you break through to come up here trying to think of his business as usual, he going to reach out and burn you up, consume you. So we see the being that Abraham dealing with, and Isaac and Jacob, they talking to him. He ain't same as Yahweh. He's like Yahweh. He who is like Yahweh, that's what Michael is. So he's able to light on a bush in Exodus chapter 3, verse 2 or verse 3, and set on the bush, but the bush didn't burn. So he's got the same substance as Yahweh, but they was formed in order to interact with mankind. But Yahweh, you can run up there like you want to, thinking that you're going to be able to deal with him. But he's going to burn you up, because he's a consuming fire. Let's look at that right quick before I finish reading. So, let me show you the difference. So you go to Ezekiel, right? Ezekiel chapter 1. This Yahweh right here. So I'm in chapter 1, verse 24. And when they went, I heard the noise of their wings like the noise of great waters, at the voice of the Almighty, the voice of speech as the noise of a host. When they stood, they let down their wings. And there was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads. So these 4 angels, there was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads when they stood, and they let down their wings. So it's this platform that's over their head. They carrying this platform. 26. And above the firmament that was over their head was the likeness of a throne. See that? As the appearance of a sapphire stone. So this platform is made out of sapphire. And it's a throne on top of it. It's a being sitting on top of these angels carrying it. 4 of these angels carrying it. Right? He says, and upon the likeness of the throne was a likeness appearance of a man. See that? That's where we get our image from. The angels was made in the image of this being, then from there we get man made in the image of the angels. So 27, and I saw the color of amber, right, as the appearance of fire round about within it, and from the appearance of his loins, it's the Yahweh, his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward, I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and he had a brightness round about. It's Yahweh. He don't have no skin on him. So when you come in contact with him, you ain't gonna make it, because he's gonna reach out and burn you up. And that's what Lord of hosts is telling Moses on Mount Sinai. It says Yahweh came down on top of the mountain, and then what did it do? The mountain all together quaked, it erupted. Lava and all that, everything, when he came down on top of it. So he told him, go down there and let them know. You've been talking to me, but the boss here, when he come down here, you can't run up on him. You can't deal with him. That's why he gave the nation of Israel to me, so I can deal with you. I'm like him, but I ain't particularly like he is. I have characteristics that I can deal with you, right? But you can't deal with him. Me, and these other 7 angels, 6 angels with me, that's why they was created. That's why they was formed, right? Let's look at that. Right? So you go to the book of Enoch. Just this in itself solidified the book of Enoch by itself. So you go to Genesis, the book of Enoch, chapter 20, right? And it says, and these are the names of the holy angels. So like I was telling the brother earlier, you got 7 holy angels. The God over whoever he is, the God that's over Israel is a holy one. Yahweh ain't no holy one. Yahweh formed the holy ones. The one that the God that's over Israel continues to tell them all through the Tanakh, I'm the holy one over Israel. So right here it says, these are the names of the holy angels who watch: Uriel, Raphael, Regiel, Michael, Seraquel, Gabriel, and Remiel. So right here, these the holy ones. It's the holy one over Israel. Well, which one of these holy ones it is? I showed you just now in Genesis 1 and 2. Yahweh is there on in Genesis 1, and there's a holy one with him. So who is this holy one? Let's go to their names. What do Michael mean? He who is like Yahweh. There it is. Yahweh in Genesis 1, in Genesis 2, Michael. So in another part of his name, it means he who can create. So when you go back and you read Genesis 1:26, like I'm getting ready to do, you're going to see Yahweh talking to somebody else. Make this. Then he make it. Then you look at it and he say, it's good. So that kills John, what John telling you about the word. Okay? So let's look at it. Genesis 1, I already read 1 and 2, right? So I'll start at verse 3. It says, and God, Yahweh said, see that? He talking to somebody. He talking to this other being that the average Negro don't seem to know he there. So he says, and God said, let there be light. And then there was light. He made the light. And then Yahweh looked at it. Then verse 4, and God saw that the light, see that? God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning was the first day, right? Then it says, and God said, let there be firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So he's talking to somebody, like I said. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and in the evening and the morning of the second day. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto me into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God, so let's look at that. Let's look at that right there on his own. Verse 9. And God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear. Well, let's go back to verse 1 and 2. See that? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Then verse 2, and the earth was without form and void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God, the angel of God, moved upon the water. So the angel on the water. Now look what he said. He's talking to the angel that's on the water, the Lord of hosts. And God said to the angel on the water, right? Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together and unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. He done it. He's talking to this angel on the water. It's a flood, just like the one before, the one with Noah. But this flood was caused of what Satan done. So the whole earth being covered with water. They returning to the earth. Yahweh is there, but the angels, the angel with creation, the spirit, he's sitting, he's on the water. And Yahweh told him, do something with the water, divide it, and make the dry land appear. And then he done it, then Yahweh looked at it. So let's look at it. Say, and God called the dry land earth, and the gathering of the waters called the seas, and he saw that it was good. See that? Examined it. What he told his right-hand man, strong one in heaven to do. When Lucifer acted up, Yahweh wasn't the one put him out. It's this strong one right here. This holy angel the one put him out. Michael. So it says, and God said, let the earth bring forth grass, herbs yielding seeds, and fruit yielding trees after that kind, whose seed in itself upon the earth, and it was so. So let's look at that. So right here, I showed you, he talking to this angel, right? And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, herbs yielding seed, and fruit trees yielding fruit, and its kind, and after its kind, whose seed in itself upon the earth. And it was so. So I want to focus on, and it was so, right? So Yahweh told him, do this. So he did this. He made the earth. So now let's go to Egypt. So the same being right here that Yahweh talking to, he sent him to Egypt. What did he do? Magnify the frogs. Turn the water in Egypt to blood. Cause the boils to come on the Egyptians. That's what he do. See that? Then 12. And the earth brought forth. See that? He doing all this. The earth brought, they're telling you, John telling you way at the end of the book, over in a whole other book, that YAHWEH'S doing all this. But anyway, 12 says, and the earth brought forth grass, and herbs yielding seeds after his kind, and the trees yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind, and God saw that it was good. See, y'all, this angel doing it, then y'all be looking at it and it's good. Okay, and the evening and the morning of the 5th day. Now this is the part I want to get to. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens, and divided the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light unto the earth, and it was so. So like I said before, you want to remodel your bathroom, you go on online and you find a carpenter. Then you come in there and the carpenter say, what you want? You tell him. Make this over here, do this over here, do that, do this. Then he do it. Then you come back after he finished, when you get ready to pay him, you look at it, it's good. And then you pay him his money. That's all that's happening right here. But he been denigrated. Right? So it says, verse 16, and God made 2 great lights, and a greater light to rule the day, and a lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heavens to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning of the 4th day. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly. See, like I said, it's a being on the waters, right? And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that have life, and the fowls that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And God created. See that? Yahweh, Michael means he who can create, right? And God created great whales and every living creature that is moving, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. So the birds and all that, he came from the water. He created them from the water, right? So 22, God blessed them. See that? After he made them, God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the fowl multiply on the earth. And the evening and the morning of the 5th day was the 5th day. So here we go right here. You say, well, the book of Enoch been banned, and nothing that don't mean nothing. And the white man, he might have told me don't read it, so I ain't gonna read it. But let's read this right here, 24. God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures. I told you. He went to Egypt, right? And he did the same thing he's doing right here in Egypt. When he delivered the Israelites, the Lord of hosts, he says, God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures after his kind, cattle, creeping things, beasts of the earth after his kind, and it was so. Then 25, God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and the cattle after his kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and God saw it, that it was good. So we've been fumbling with it, because like I said, that ain't how things go. If he made it, what are you doing examining? He got somebody else making it, then he examining it. And the being he got that's making it, he made him. So anyway, 26. And God said, let us. So you fumble, you got to deal with that. The only person to answer that is Enoch. He said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowls of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and over everything that creepeth upon the earth. So let's look at this. So I showed you, Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, and these angels made this whole creation. So look what he said. God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over everything they created. Him and these 7 angels, what they did after they finished, he said they made man dominion over it. See that? That's what we're looking at. So all they doing is Yahweh, when Yahweh created them, and then from them, they came and made man in their image. Like Yahweh. See that? What I'm say? God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. So what is Michael? What is these 7 angels? They made in his image after his likeness. That's why he can light on the bush and transform into a fire on the bush. Because that's where he was made from the fire I showed you in Ezekiel chapter 1, the beam that was on top of the sapphire stone, Yahweh. He's a consuming fire. He made these 7 angels from himself. That's why he's able to light on the bush and be like fire. Except it's a different type of fire than the fire that Yahweh is, because of the fire Yahweh have, you can't come around it. It's going to reach out and burn you up. But he made these angels a little lower than him in order to deal with his creation, deal with mankind. And they marginalized it by putting that word God there. Got the finger in your ear saying God. But you got to rightly divide there and break it down, because it's way bigger than that. Putting God there when that ain't Yahweh that's there. It's an angel that's like Yahweh. When he went to Egypt, he sent this angel to Egypt. He got God-like characteristics that Yahweh gave him. He can make frogs come out the ocean, turn the water into blood, turn Moses' stick into a serpent. He's like Yahweh. He's made in his likeness. That's not YAHWEH'S. So you have to go backtrack, get that order in place, find out what's going on in the creation, what happened in the very beginning of creation. Then you can come out. When you come out of that, then you can start dealing with YAHWEH'S if you want to. And if you do, there's something wrong with you. Okay? Because he ain't nowhere in that story. He's nowhere in the first 26 verses in Genesis. He has nothing whatsoever to do with it. And like I said last night, if you're dealing with him in 2024, it's a shame. It's a damn shame. Okay? Any comments? Questions? Yeah, let me give you this right quick before we go. So they tell you, just like they tell you don't deal with they told you don't deal with the book of Enoch, same with book of Jubilees. They tell you don't deal with that. But these same holy angels I just told you about, time itself is kept in Jubilees. That's why you got the book of Jubilees. Because they telling you the story in the original time by Jubilees every 50 years. So you like I said before, you are Israelite, and you from that lineage and the seed line, you should be running toward Jubilees. But because you brainwashed, you've been told don't deal with it, you're not dealing with it. You're on a different frequency. Okay? He already said he's gonna help us. They had us off. They had us off, and they said that he's gonna come and help us in Isaiah 44 and put us back on the right frequency. And so he done that. So if you ain't on that right frequency, like I said, it's a shame. because he didn't came back. He recalibrated us. The Israelite. Okay? Any comments, anything before we go? Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so nobody have no questions or comments for anything before we go? Shine a light on something? I was making sure to backtrack from last night. We had a Bible shindig last night, so I was coming back and to put this out on the channel to make sure that people get what happened in the beginning. You can't move forward without understanding what happened in the beginning. And like I said, you posting JC. I mean, it's two things that people have to understand when you come over here to Prophet's Awakening, dealing with what's happening over here. When you mention JC, it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not shit. The narrative is not being set where they got you thinking that he's causing problems. You're not causing no problems. The situation is that it's the concern for the people that's bringing it forth. How are you still there? It's not that he caused no problems because it's like dirty water or dishwater in your sink. When you finish washing the dishes, you let the dishwater out. That's where we at. So to still convince it, to bringing him up or dealing with him, that means that it's a lack of knowledge. No understanding. You're not dealing with the scriptures. Like I said, Hitler was a learned man. Artaxerxes was a learned man. David, those was learned men. You can't just come and tell no learned man, well, like Solomon. The wisdom that Solomon had came from the Creator. Joseph. You can't deal with no man that's dealing with the Creator and the knowledge that he's imparting on them. You can't come dealing with it no any kind of way. It ain't gonna work. Lies and misinformation gonna roll off like water on a duck bag. So it's not being offensive. It's ridiculous. That's what it is. So when you mention it, it ain't doing nothing over here. It's like I said, it's falling to the ground. It ain't hitting on nothing. It's too much information being delivered. There's too much information that's on the channel. It's not working. I mean, like I said, you want to be sitting there with JC posted up in your head when the Redeemer come back. It's on you. And see if it worked then. The Egyptians was dealing with, they was dealing with Osiris and Thoth and all them when the Lord of Hosts came to Egypt. Look what happened to them. That ideology fell to the ground because when he turned the whole Nile River to blood, now one of them couldn't do shit. The same thing getting ready to happen now. It ain't nothing but a reoccurring event that these wicked folks do. Create gods. When he come back, it ain't gonna work. He working now because he got us bonded, got our mind chained up. He's working for them. He's doing the job for them. He got us bound up, caught up in their ideologies. But when the Creator come back, it ain't gonna work. Okay. So with that being said, if nobody don't have no comments, it's all good. So you can come over here for 1,000 years and post up JC. It ain't working. It's water on duck back. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom to everybody. We got our evening Shabbat class at 6 this evening. So if you want to join us and check it out, more than welcome. Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.